All right, so let's continue talking about the rhetorical tetrahedron. So earlier we talked about the rhetorical triangle, which includes epos, pathos, and logos. And to emphasize, epos, pathos, and logos all affect one another. If you are persuading someone, you have to know that they come together. It has to be balanced. When you persuade using ethos, pathos, and logos have to be there as well. And if you also have targeted the emotions, don't forget to target the logic and to include something that will help bring out the credibility of your speaker. So, as mentioned in new media writing, it's not just about the triangle. It's a tetrahedron because we have added several other elements, which include, as mentioned earlier, medium, design, genre, and kairos. We'll talk about kairos a bit later on. But note that here in new media writing, when we talk about the tetrahedron, we must make sure that all of these are well taken care of. So let's proceed. Again, the rhetorical triangle has 3 points. And it all also boils down to the what, the why, and the how. Let's take a look at this figure. In here, we have the writer or the speaker. We take note of the context, which will be tackled later on, the text or the speech, and the audience. Now, if you consider these elements, you will have an idea already that we are also pertaining to the 3 elements in the triangle. Here, when you know that the speaker or the writer is credible, the text or the speech will be emotionally targeting your audience. And when you have the right context or timing, you now talk about kairos. This points to the time and space context in which the proof will be delivered. So for example, if your message is all about, say, what's a particular topic you have in mind right now, but I'm thinking about a topic that is very classic, which is about love. All right. So in my example, if I will be selling a dating app, say for example, what app do you have in mind? Whichever app that is, we may consider now that in kairos, you have to take note of time and space. So the context I'm coming from here is, for example, the pandemic. Here in our particular time now, we are facing a pandemic. And we may know that dating apps are also in demand right now because people, when they are dating right now, it's quite impossible unless you are already, you've settled down already and you know that a person is already, you're compatible with that person already, even before the pandemic. That right now it's virtually possible to meet other people. And that can be through dating apps. But you have to also know that with the limitations we have right now, there has to be a way for dating apps to persuade people. So that will come into play. With that, applying that to the concept of kairos, it must be presented at the right moment, or else it will not have the same impact on the audience. So marketing-wise, when we market these apps, we have to know that people are coming from this experience that wherein sometimes they get lonely, sometimes they also get anxious of their situations, especially if they're single, and this pandemic limits their social relationships. So we also have to take note of that. And that's where the marketing comes into play. We have to be careful as well because people are quite sensitive right now. There are certain, experiences that cause people to get sad, and others because of other circumstances. So we have to be careful with those. That's where context comes in. Kairos is also a reference to the specificity of each rhetorical situation. Because each rhetorical situation is different, thus, different rhetorical devices need to be applied at a given point in time. So I'll just leave it to you to study or research about the different rhetorical devices, but we have a lot of them. So given our luxury of time, I advise you to look up and research about them. So Kairos, if I may add, is also related to the 3 in the triangle, because as mentioned earlier, when we know that we already have the message and we have the timing, at the end of the day, it will go into the middle. Kairos is really part of this equation. So you have to be very careful when you consider timing and context. Here's an example, another example. So if you look at this, we are selling cars here. Honda is selling cars here. And it says in the advertisement, I can't believe I can get Honda quality at these low prices. So I better hurry before it's too late. Event. It makes use of timing. It seems to say that time is running out, and at the same time, it triggers you to do something, because if not, you will miss on the opportunity. So that's another example of Kairos, making use of timing. Yeah, so that's it for Rhetorical Tetrahedron. If you have questions, just let me know, and I'll be glad to answer them. Bye.